Oh hi, I'm Peter from Sprinkler Magician. Today we're going to fit one of our automatic mosquito control systems to this house. Now because the system uses the irrigation system, we're going to mount it in the general area that the irrigation system components are mounted. So basically we're going to put the main control panel, the box, on the wall right here, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to run a tube down to the backflow valve, which is just down here, and that's where we inject our right into the sprinkler water. Then we also run a pair of wires just down the wall, through the wall, and back up the other side to the irrigation timer. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to mount the Sprinkler Magician box on the wall right here. Now this is masonry, so what we're going to use is we're going to use these Tapcon bits here and this special Tapcon drill bit. That'll provide a very secure way of mounting the box. Before we mount the unit to the house, what I normally do is take the door off. It comes straight off really easily. It's one of our little design features. It makes the unit much more easy to handle while you're screwing it on the side of the house. By the way, this is a water softener. It has nothing to do with our system. Now that we got the box mounted on the wall, the next thing to do is hook up the injection point. And where we do that is right down here at the backflow valve. Now we're going to fit the injection point, and it's important that we fit it on the downstream side of the backflow valve. Now there's a couple of ways of doing that. One is to actually cut the pipe and put a T in like this, but today we're going to do it an even easier way by using the saddle fitting. And the thing about a saddle fitting is we just put some cement on it, we snap it on, then we drill a little hole, and we're done. Okay, so now we're going to drill a hole, which of course is necessary to allow the fluid to flow. And that's it. Okay, so now we're going to fit the injection point. This is a dual one because we're fitting a dual reservoir model. Basically the first thing to do is wrap a little thread tape on the supplied adapter and then screw that in and tighten it. And then some more thread tape on the check valve, and then do the same with that. And then lastly, just ensure that the small valve at the end is tight. Now we're going to run the injection pipe from the machine down to the injection point that we just fitted. The machine comes with two rolls, 20 foot long each. The reason there's two rolls is that this machine is a dual reservoir. The single reservoir machine will obviously just come with one roll. So now we're running the injection tubes. You can see I've run them through here, across, and all the way down, and I've already pushed them into the injection point. Now we're going to actually push these onto the two pumps. It's pretty easy, just push them straight in. You have to push them in firmly until they won't go any further. So now we have the injection lines hooked up, and we just need to plug the unit into the wall. First of all, we run the cord through the little hole in the bottom of the cabinet, and then all we really need to do is plug it in. Okay, so we're now going to take the control panel out so we can run the wires down the wall, through the wall, and back up to the timer in the garage. So the unit comes with 20 feet of irrigation cable for the purpose of hooking our unit up to the irrigation timer. Okay, so we're going to run the end of the wire down out of the control panel, out of the box, and we're actually going to run it through this conduit that I ran for the injection pipes, down through the existing hole in the wall where the irrigation wiring was running, and back up to the irrigation timer on the other side of this wall. Okay, so start off by taking the wire and bearing back the insulation about 4 inches. Okay, as you can see, I've cut back the insulation on 4 of the wires in this irrigation cable. In this particular property, it only has 2 irrigation zones, so that will affect the amount of wires we need to hook up. All the details for that are in the installation manual. Okay, so as you can see, I've hooked up the wires. This is for zones 1 and 2, and there's 2 common wires. Again, full details in the manual. So this is the wiring completed. Now the last thing we're going to do is hook up the battery, which is a little backup battery that comes with it. Okay, so here's a very typical residential irrigation timer or clock, and as you can see, we've run the wires from the Sprinkler Magician unit, which is just on the other side of the wall down a little bit, and now I'm going to hook it up to the clock. First thing we do is hook up the one for zone 1. Of course, this is all explained in detail in the installation manual. And now zone 2. Okay, so that's the zones done. Now the common, we remove the existing common and put our black wire in its place. Okay, and then we take the supplied wire nut and we hook the common that went to the valves to our white wire. Now that we've filled the 2 reservoirs, one with Mosquito Magician and one with liquid fertilizer, we're going to go ahead and prime the 2 pumps. So to prime the pesticide pump, we turn the switch on and press the prime button. You hear the pump going, and now at the bottom of the tube you'll see the liquid come out very shortly. So that one is now primed. So now to do the other one, we turn the switch off, we turn this one on. We hit the prime button again, but this time this pump will be deployed and it will be priming the fertilizer. And it'll come out in just a second. Okay, so here's a brief look at the programming. Basically, you need to make sure both these switches are off, then press and hold these 2 buttons for 5 seconds until the light flashes 5 times. Okay, now we click it into programming mode. This switch selects which item we're going to program. So we turn it into the daily position. We're now going to program it to operate on 2 irrigation zones. So we're going to say 1, 2, and then recall the setting back, 1, 2. Next, we're going to recall what mode the system's running in. Again, this is explained fully in the manual, but it should come by default in mode 2. Okay, so that's good. Now, this lets us set the time that we want the machine to activate. So I'm going to say I want the machine to activate 2 hours from now. Okay, so we're done. Now I'm going to kick it out of programming mode. All those settings are now saved. The machine will operate on 2 zones, it'll run in mode 2, and it'll actually start 2 hours from right now.